Hello, today once again we have Mark Smith, the CEO of NioCorp, trading on the Nasdaq under the ticker symbol NB. Mark, welcome back.
Thank you, Craig. As always, just great to be here.
Great to see you again, Mark. You recently wrapped up a very strong year at NioCorp. When you look back on 2025, what stands out the most?
Craig, it's an unbelievable list. 2025 was really a phenomenal year for NioCorp in many, many ways. Let's start out with the fundraising. We raised over $370 million as NioCorp last year. We still have well over 300 million in our treasury, and that's after all the things I'm going to talk about that we got done in 2025. That includes some drilling activity where we did infill drilling so we can raise the probable reserve category up to a proven reserve. We just issued press releases on that. We've got it to the resource level for geologic purposes. The next step is we add the mining plan and calculate the reserves. We are 100% confident that we will exceed the requirements that EXIM has put in front of us. This ore body proves out every single time to be a unique, one-of-a-kind ore body that needs to be mined. So we're thrilled with those drilling results. We continue with the feasibility study update, where we're updating the engineering portion of our new process flow diagram. That work is it's going well. We're waiting for more and more results to come in, but we're on target for about a mid-March finalization of that effort for the update. We've added people to our program here. We've doubled the number of people that we have at NioCorp in terms of staff and organizational capability. The people we have brought on board, I can't speak highly enough, Craig. We're taking the time to find the right cultural fit in our company. We want to maintain that truth and honesty. We want to maintain that family culture in the company. I couldn't be more thrilled with the people that we brought on board. We had the DoD contract that we talked about in August of this year, that including paying for the drilling that we're doing, paying for the updated engineering for the feasibility study, but included two pieces of Scandium advancement that I think are just phenomenal, and we've talked about both of them. The Department of War wants NioCorp to figure out how to onshore the Scandium supply chain. We're doing that. We're figuring out how to make metal from oxides, and as we have announced in 2025, we have the deal with Lockheed for a joint development program, which we hope turns into an offtake agreement for Scandium. We bought all the property that we need for our 30-plus year mine life. We have all the surface rights and mineral rights that we need. That's behind us. We don't have to worry about, holdout landowners that delay projects. That's done. It's behind us. We had a town hall on December 5th. 600 people showed up for this town hall. This is in Elk Creek, Nebraska, with a population of 98. That tells you what support we have, not just in Elk Creek, but the entire surrounding area. Not one protester showed up at this meeting. Unbelievable support from the local community. On top of that, the participants in the town hall blew me away. We had the governor of Nebraska who came out personally and actually spoke live at the event. We had Senator Ricketts show up live at the event and speak at the event. Senator Fisher could not attend because she had other scheduled commitments, but she took the time to prepare a video that we got to show everybody at the town hall. The real bell ringer, though, on that town hall was a video that was done by Chairman John Jovanovich from the Export-Import Bank of the United States. I'll get into more on the progress there, but the chairman was supposed to come out. He wanted to come out to the town hall live. President Trump needed Chairman Jovanovich on that Friday for other purposes. He took the time Thursday before to put a video together. We have that on our website. I encourage everybody to watch that video. If you don't think EXIM is interested in NioCorp, watch that video. I couldn't believe the strong support and statements that the chairman had for this project. It was just phenomenal. And then finally, and we'll get into this more, I know in some questions coming up, but EXIM is moving faster than ever. And I'll cover that in more detail as we get into the next questions.
Mark, that was a thrilling dissertation on 2025. I can just feel your excitement there. I have a feeling, though, you might even be more excited about this next question I'm going to be giving you, which is the momentum coming out of Washington on critical minerals, including the recent actions. You sort of alluded to President Trump, but led by the president himself. How meaningful is that entire shift for your sector? And of course, where does NioCorp fit into all of it?
Craig, the president has done a phenomenal job of understanding supply chain issues that are impacting our economy, impacting our national security. He understands the importance of that. He's putting his money where his mouth is. He's entered into several agreements, three that I'm aware of with different mineral and mineral processing companies. We're in the mix for all that as well. We have multiple discussions going on with the U.S. government. There are certain entitlements that are now very evident as part of a deal that the government announced in mid-2025, where there are price floor supports, there are commitments for purchasing, there are equity investments, there are provisions. So these are things that every critical strategic minerals company is seeking from the government. We're in a beautiful, beautiful position right now. We're the only company in the United States that will have a niobium development project that includes scandium. Those two items are not being produced or developed by any other company in the United States. And then when we add dysprosium and terbium, two heavy rare earths to that, we are a standout, and the government knows us very well right now.
Truly exciting stuff, Mark. Getting back to the Elk Creek project in southeastern Nebraska, you recently announced plans to begin construction of the mine portal at the project. What should people understand about this step?
This is an exciting time for the company because we don't want to call it start of construction yet because we want to have the biggest groundbreaking ceremony known to mankind. We have so many supporters that want to be there in person for a groundbreaking ceremony. But we are going to start moving a lot of dirt. We're going to start putting in the ramp that starts at the surface and goes down to our limestone piece of the underground area. That is what's called the portal project. So we're going to actually install the portal for the underground mine. The reason why this is important is that this is about a 9 to 10 month project. If we can get a very quick start on this, which we are going to do, our board has approved this project. We'll start digging on or about February 1, so it's very soon right now. We start that project now, we could be over halfway done by the time we have all of our project financing together. That gives us about a 5 to 6 month start on the underground development part of this project. So that helps make sure that we stay on budget and on time with the bigger project. Now, the other message that I think is important, though, Craig, is that when a company commits $45 million for a project called the Portal Project, that may say something about our confidence level for XM financing and for the remainder of the equity financing. And I hope people read between the lines on that.
Which leads me to my final question today, Mark, and it has to do with the U.S. Export Import Bank. As you know, investors have been watching your financing progress closely. Where do things stand today? And of course, in particular, with the Exim Bank.
Yeah, it's a great question and one that I'm just thrilled to answer, just like every other question today, Craig. XM Bank is moving faster on the debt portion of this project than they have in the 2.5 years that we've been working with them. I have received more emails, more phone calls, and the establishment of meetings with XM in the last 4 or 5 weeks than we have in the last 2.5 years. It is just a constant, let's get this done. Let's get this done. Let's negotiate this. Let's negotiate that. We were headed to Washington, D.C. next week. We're going to convert that to a Teams meeting because D.C. is supposed to get about 20 inches of snow. We'll do that by Teams next week. We're going to meet them face to face the following week. That's how fast things are moving right now. XM has asked NioCorp to actually put together the first draft of the binding term sheet for this loan. We put that together for them. They reviewed it. That's what we're going to do and do a page turn exercise where we review, discuss all of this next week. That'll continue until we're done. That's the first time ever that I'm aware of that EXIM has asked the applicant to go ahead and take the pen on a binding term sheet. So that's how far along we are. I think this process with EXIM is going to go a lot faster than what anybody anticipates, and I think we could have, based on my opinion only, I think we could have some good news on EXIM with some sort of a word called binding as early as the second quarter of 2026. This is all happening very fast right now. I think 2026 is going to be an even better year than 2025. So hang on.
Great things are happening at NioCorp, Mark, and it's great to hear about it. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, Craig, especially when the story is this good. Thank you for the opportunity once again.